Within the socketless socket, we're using a gel liner for an entirely different purpose than in conventional sockets. In conventional sockets, the gel liner is being used for shear force prevention and for cushioning within the socket. Within the socketless socket, however, we're using the gel liner as the functional equivalent of a thermoplastic inner socket, and more effectively even as a hammock within the socket structure. So the way that we're doing that is we've eliminated a static socket shape, we've eliminated an encapsulated socket, we've eliminated a thermoplastic inner socket and an external carbon fiber frame, and now we have a socketless socket structure that's very open and conforming. So the gel liner becomes the functional equivalent of that thermoplastic inner socket to contain and control the limb tissue. You can use any gel liner within the socketless socket system. There's a lot of great liners out there, and every liner has its own dynamic characteristics. Some are very stretchy, and some have a matrix that's built into them that really contains and controls the limb tissue by itself. You can use any form of suspension within the socketless socket. So some liners are going to offer sealing means for suction or vacuum. Some liners have integrated pin or lanyard attachments. And you can select the liner that you would like based off of your suspension methods. One of the liners that I like to use is a fabric-covered gel liner that has a Velcro-compatible fabric on it. And by doing that, we can modularly adjust the dynamic characteristics of the liner and turn it into the functional equivalent of a thermoplastic inner socket by adding elements to it to change how stretchy it is or the amount of containment and control that we have. So elements like the fabric inner socket or the flower distal cup that can Velcro to the outside of the fabric covered liner allow us to change the dynamic characteristics of that liner and really control the dynamics within the socketless socket structure. So having a flexible inner socket that is so flexible you could fold it up and stick it in your pocket is really a very beneficial element within the socketless socket framework. By having very flexible dynamic materials, the gel liner, which conforms to the limb shape every time it's donned, having a very flexible dynamic inner socket, allows for full volume accommodation within the socketless socket framework, but still has the same control and dynamic conformity around the limb that a traditional socket would provide to really contain that limb tissue within the system.